Okay, YouTube, in our last video we were looking at finite geometric sums, and this is just kind of an application situation that involves such a sum, but let's take a look at this situation. It says a job pays a salary of $30,000 the first year. During the next 29 years, the salary increases by 6% each year. And so this would be basically a geometric situation, because what we're doing is we're going to each year take your base salary times six, I guess 106%. Because what's happening is this: we would say the first year you're getting your 30,000, the next year you're getting 30,000 plus 6% of 30,000, which we would just find it this way. We would say then the next year, you got 30,000 plus, 6% times 6%, which is 6% squared times 30,000. Basically, the one that I want to play around with here is this. If we were to take this expression here and factor the 30,000 out of it, you would see that we have 30,000 factored out, we'd have 1 plus 0.06. And really the thing that I want everybody to see is this: if this is really truly geometric, then what's happening is we've got 30,000 this year, but then we've got 1.06 times that amount the next year, and 1.06 times that amount next year, and 1.06 times that amount next year. And really, the reason why is because you always have 100% of what you started with plus that extra 6%. So we could find just 106% of that amount. And so in general, what we're seeing is a situation here that if we were to write a rule for it, at least, we'd say, well, what's our A1? What are we starting at? We'd say, well, then I'm starting at $30,000 a year. And if we were to say, well, then what's it changing by? You're saying, well, we're multiplying by 1.06 because, you got 106% of what you started with the year before. So this being said, I suppose a general rule for this would be A1, sorry, A1 times now r to the n minus 1. In this case, our r value, I don't need to switch colors here, our r value is 1.06 to the n minus 1. And so what we get in general is this thing that says, hey, you tell me how many years after your first year, and I'll tell you how much your salary would be, basically based upon this. So the question we're trying to answer in this video is, what is the total lifetime salary over the 30-year period? And so, we could go find A30 with this rule, but what I'm saying is that's only going to represent what you're making that 30th year. What we want to do is find out how much you made each year and then add all of that up. And so essentially what we're going to do here is we're going to find the sum of the first 30 terms of this thing. So we say n, equals 1 up to 30 of our rule here. I'm just going to be lazy. I'm going to say of this rule that you see right here. And so what we need to do this, remember, we need our first term, we need r, and we need n. So in this particular case, we're adding up 30 terms of this sequence. We know that our r here is 1.06, and our first year was $30,000. And so for our sum of, the first 30 years here, let's go ahead and start with this. Our value of A1, I'm going to need to space this out a little bit further. We say $30,000 is what we started with, and then we'd say times r. I suppose I don't need to make that very big. Our r value is 1.06, and this is to the 30 minus 1 power. 30 minus 1 power. And so we're just going to put this into a calculator, essentially. So let's go ahead and do that. We say 30,000. Oh, sorry. I can't believe I just did that. We're working a sum here. I'm sitting here writing a rule. The summation formula, of course, is A1 times 1 minus r to the n over 1 minus r. That being said, okay, so proceeding from here, we have 1 minus r to the n over 1 minus r. And so our r value here, of course, 1.06, and then 1.06 here. We're going to have to work some calculator magic on this one here. But starting in the numerator, okay, let's give this a shot. We have, and this is going to be interesting here, 1 minus 1.06 to the 30th. 1 minus 1.06 to the 30th power. Around negative it will be 1.06. So we're going to need to go back here. 6. There we go. So here's our top value. We're dividing by. Now I'm going to put this in parentheses. 1 minus 1.06 end parenthesis. And then we're going to take all of this now times 30,000. So times 30,000. And we get this value right here. So I'm just going to leave this up on the screen. But basically this is the value that we get when we take the sum of the first 30 years or your lifetime salary in dollars. Cheers.